Hey folks, this is the Nutty Knife Guy and his co-host Jolly Roger. Jolly needs a little adjustment there. Bringing you a budget Bowie knife review. This is the Ridge Runner. There you go. The Ridge Runner Renegade Bowie. Model number, if these old eyes can see it right, is RR681. This has I believe it's 10 inches, but we will verify. If I can learn how to use a tape measure. Yes. A 10-inch mystery stainless steel blade. But I'm guessing 440A, 420C, somewhere in that area. It has a good fighting guard. Stainless steel, back of wood handle, bird beak pommel, stainless steel pins, and it's pretty. I've had this for about a year, and I just now got around to doing a review on it. I really hope I don't break this knife on the war post, but I'm going to go out and give her a try. Now, just when you buy this, you'll find out, like I said, it's about 20 bucks. I think I paid actually $19.99 for it before tax and all of that noise. One thing it is, for a $20 knife, it is pretty, and the fit and finish is really good. I was very pleased with it when I got it out of the box, and I still am. You can just barely feel where the pins aren't quite flush to the scales, but you really have to try and find that. All right, and the same thing where the full tang goes down through here. You can feel a little bit where it's not quite flush, but just barely. The handguard fits solid, so hey, not bad at all for 20 bucks. The sheath is a fairly standard budget knife sheath, nylon. However, I will say this, it's not just stitched, it's riveted in 3 places, one here, here, and here. And it seems to be more substantial than the average budget knife sheath that you get. Now, having said that, if you're doing light camp use, if you're just going out at a state park or someplace like that in a campground, and you're not dragging this through heavy brush or necessarily exposing it to the weather, it should do fine. And that's kind of how this is marketed. Bud K actually did a kind of video where they had a model out there in the wilderness doing camp stuff with it, but it wasn't, deepest, darkest Oregon rainforest. And for that, it ought to do fine. So there it is. So let's go out to the war post and see what this puppy can do. So here we go. Ridge Runner Renegade Bowie. A $20-ish Bowie knife against the war post. Okay, there's the slashes. Here comes the thrust. Miss. There we go. That's 8, and I pulled down my target. All right, you just saw the war post footage, and this thing acquitted itself pretty well. Uh, I accidentally deleted the footage where I chopped with it and feather sticked with it. So I'm just going to tell you about that because I was stupid, and instead of emailing it to myself, somehow I managed to delete that. Uh, I hacked on this thing with a dogwood on a piece of dogwood branch about yay thick, and took a pretty good chunk out of it. And there is no edge damage, and you'll see there's no edge damage from when I was whacking it into the warpost, which footage which I didn't delete. And it still was able to feather stick to the best of my ability. Yeah, and it, you know, you can carve sticks. It maintained an edge pretty well, and like I said, there was no damage to the edge or the tip. And you saw where I stuck it up there on angle 8 on upward thrust and stuck it in. When I pulled it down, I actually pulled the target down. So this thing bit deep into that post. Uh, all of that and everything is still completely tight. It's still just as pretty as when I took it out of the box. So it's hard to really knock this knife for $20. It really is. Now, I did not try to do any bottle cutting with the fabric and everything like that. But the reason is this. The 3 times that I've done that now, I've gotten the same result, and just the way I was doing things just kind of bothers me. Because I didn't do standardized bottles, I didn't use standardized cloth, and I want to do that. So I'm going to accumulate several of the same types of bottles and find some old scrap cloth around here, maybe an old t-shirt or something like that, so I can make the test uniform. And I want to do a video that's going to be kind of elaborate, at least by my standards, where I have a whole bunch of the same, basically the same targets, and I want to go at them with knives of different sizes and different blades geometry. And maybe if I can find somebody that is so inclined to do some cutting other than me, to see if maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, or just the way I'm doing things, or it's blade geometry, or whatever. So I didn't bother with that test this time, and I probably won't do it on my next few reviews because it's going to take me a while to get things the way I want for this ultimate test video I have in mind. But you will see, I'm going at that warpost pretty good. And you'll have to take my word for it that I chopped into a dogwood tree because I was an idiot, deleted that footage. But anyway, you know, just kind of a recap. My one criticize this is a smooth grip, and I realize that, you know, it's, you know, traditional Bowie's going to have wooden grips. If I were going to take this out for a field knife, and I really wouldn't have too much worry about doing this for like a camp knife or a trail knife, I would probably ruin its looks and get some like tennis racket tape or tool grip tape for the handle. But this is a collection knife. This is to look good and to play with and abuse in videos. So I'm probably not going to do that. I am considering just spending another $20 and getting another one to tape up to have for kind of a heavy use knife just around the house here. So, but bottom line, yeah, I mean, if you want a Bowie that you can use and you got $20, it's hard to go wrong with this thing. Would I choose this over, say, my Cold Steel Marauder? No, but then that thing cost almost 4 times as much. For $20, you got a really durable, usable knife that also has the advantage of being physically quite attractive. So there you go. The Ridge Runner Renegade Bowie model RR681. If you're in a market for a light camp knife or trail knife, this is it. Oh, well, one thing I do want to mention, when I was chopping with this thing, it chopped and it held up, but it didn't do a good job of chopping, and it's because the weight in the blade, there's not enough weight in the blade. For a Bowie knife, this is a very, can I get this thing? Yeah. For a Bowie knife, this is a very thin edge, a very thin blade. and it just didn't have the weight to really bite into that wood. But other than that, I can recommend this knife for 20 bucks absolutely without reservation. So remember, folks, to draw your knives only in just purpose, sheathe them only with honor, and remember also that without knives, life would be dull and pointless. The Nutty Knife Guy bids you farewell.